All right, my friends, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we are talking about switching from Nvidia to AMD. So it's been 29 days since I made the switch, and I've been doing these videos every day for the last 29 days so that I can talk about my experience, go over some of the things that I've noticed, from making the switch from Nvidia to AMD. And today we actually had an issue. So, got home from work, turned on the PC, black screens. I was like, what the freak is going on? So I turned back off the PC, I turned it back on, black screens. So I turn it back off, I turn it back on, and then I just sit there and I wait for a minute. This took about a half an hour before I could actually get into my PC today, and I was starting to get kind of mad. So whatever was going on, I was sitting here and I was playing around with it, and I finally got it to come on, and I finally got one screen on. So I was like, all right, and then my other screen wouldn't even register. The OLED did register. I turned it on. It was on. It did register, but for some reason my little monitor didn't work. So I was like, what the freak? So I turned it off and I turn it back on, and still nothing from the little monitor. So I unplug it and then I plug it back in. Well, I ended up having to switch like two of my ports from one to the other. There's three display ports in the back of here. I ended up moving them around, and then all of a sudden my little screen started working again. So it wasn't working on one. So I was like, what the freak, man? And then after I'd gotten it all booted up, I downloaded a driver from the AMD software for the Ratchet and Clank thing that everybody was saying, oh yeah, it's got the ray tracing now, but it doesn't. It still does not. There's no ray tracing enabled on Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. That's why you're not getting a video tonight. That kind of sucks, man. It's been over a week now. We should have that. But after I did all that, I switched my display ports back in there. Now all my screens are working again. And so that kind of frustrated me. That kind of left me a little bit irritated. Not a deal breaker by any means, but that's like the first actual like bug that I've had in 29 days. With the screens, just being all black today, that was kind of a little bit irritating. To be completely honest with you, I work all day, I come home, and I want to get started on making my content early so that I can get to bed at 10 o'clock at a decent hour so that I'm ready and able to go. So that did kind of frustrate me, but I liken that to like when I had the 3080. So I had the 3080, and I would if I had my 4K OLED hooked up to it and I turned off the OLED, then it would make all my screens blink. So I mean, overall, I mean, yeah, while that was annoying and that was the first time that's happened in like 29 days, if it started to get like more prevalent and like was happening every day, then I'd get mad. I'd probably like RMA this thing or something, and try to, or at least try to find out. I don't know. I mean, if it's just a driver software bug that's going on. I know that other people were talking about this black screen thing, and now that it's finally happened to me, I'm like, ooh boy, I don't know. That was kind of annoying. I'm not even gonna lie. That was pretty annoying. But the overall experience so far, up to this point, has been good. Like I'm enjoying playing video games on here. I'm enjoying creating content on here. I'm having fun with that. I really do like AMD driver software. I do. I like I like Adrenaline. I think it's absolutely incredible, and could definitely help a bunch of people if you're just getting into PC. I could definitely see AMD being like the start off point, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. It's been 29 days. I'm not having cold feet or anything like that. Trust and believe that. Like, I'm okay with my decision. I am happy with my build so far. And here's the thing, man. Like, I put my money where my mouth was when I bought this. You know what I mean? Like, I put my money where my mouth is, and I do use it. I mean, obviously, I depend on this PC for the channel. Like, I depend on this PC for the channel, and I put the whole channel at the mercy of AMD, to not necessarily to prove a point, but to kind of show Nvidia that I'm not a fool, man. I'm not going to sit and be duped by their lack of VRAM on their cards, and I'm not going to keep paying their high prices. I'll just as soon buy the competitor's card because I just don't care. I don't like feeling I don't like feeling taken like I'm being taken advantage of. I'm a grown man, dude. Like I don't like playing these little petty games with these companies. Like I don't care. I buy all my third party games on Xbox Series X. There's a reason for that. I don't like the petty games that PlayStation plays by holding games to their platform or making them, making developers build the games in parity for them. There's reasons why I would just as soon buy all my third party games on the Xbox and be like, okay, whatever. If you're gonna force me to play a game in parity on the PlayStation 5 on the weaker hardware and not let the Xbox version, really shine, I'll just buy the Xbox version. I'm not going to support your bad behavior, PlayStation. The only games I buy on my PlayStation are my exclusives. So it kind of sucks to be them. They've lost a lot of money this generation already because of their shady tactics. And Nvidia is the same, man. If they're going to if they're gonna like, I mean, at least it didn't take me a long time to figure it out. But if they're going to deliberately throttle their cards to make it so I feel like I have to buy a new card every generation, I am definitely going to buy their competitor's card and give that a shot. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a problem with that. Like I am not going to support that type of behavior from these trillion-dollar companies just because everybody says it's the best and it's the best. There are a lot of good things about Nvidia cards. There's a lot of good things, and when they first come out, they're absolutely incredible. But the longevity of that thing, man, I had that 3080 for what, 10 months, 8 months, and in that time, I bought it at the end of the generation, pretty much at the end of like almost like, I mean, it came out in October, and the 40 series cards got launched like a month after, and I was like, my gosh, man, but I don't know. It really didn't bug me and started until I started seeing that like new games weren't going to be running that great on it, because I was perfectly okay with using that 3080. I would have just stuck it out and I would have just stuck with that card. But then newer games started having problems. They were starting to get VRAM limited, stuff like that. And me personally, like with the channel, I can't do that. I can't sit here and be at the mercy of one of these gazillion-dollar companies because they feel like they need to upsell their product or they need to create a lot of FOMO. And don't get me started again with the whole freaking DLSS and the frame generators and the FSR and all of that nonsense, because while those are good to help, kind of push the longevity of the card, when you go out and buy a new card, you shouldn't have to be using those. You shouldn't have to. And I don't know what anybody else on the planet is thinking. I mean, I get that they're good. I mean, you should be, those things should be like on your 3060s and your 3050s and your older GPUs and all of that. Those are the things that need it the most. You shouldn't have to rely on that technology when you buy a high-end graphics card from Nvidia or AMD. And I've really been sitting here with this AMD card, not turning on FSR or any of that stuff, so that I can get a decent baseline for exactly what kind of performance my card is going to get. If I get over 60 frames a second at 4K, I'm okay with that. If I can get over, anywhere from 60 to 165 frames at 1440p on that card, I'm okay with that. Like I'm generally okay with that. I'm a pretty easygoing guy. Like I don't buy these products and just expect them to be like, yeah, man, you better deliver everything. Like, I don't expect that. And I feel like a lot of people on the channel or a lot of people in the community think that I feel like, man, you bought a 7900 XT. There's limitations to that. Like, I get that. Obviously, I get that. There's limitations to that. I bought this card with the general purpose of it being a 1440p card. But all of the newer games that I bought on that 3080 are running at 4K. So I'm like, okay, maybe this card will do okay at 4K. That gave me enough confidence to go out and buy the LG C2. I was going to buy this TV either way. I was going to buy this TV either way because I needed a smaller one for my sim racing. But at the end of the day, I mean, it just kind of pushed that purchase up a lot farther than I thought. I bought this whole PC, I built this whole PC and bought that TV all in the same month. And it's been good. Like I really like the way this LG C2 performs, and I really like the way um, everything looks from the AMD graphics card on that TV. Like I'm really happy with this overall build. Like I'm pretty satisfied with what I've been able to put together. And the way things are operating right now, I'm okay with that. Now I've never said on this channel that I'm like an expert or anything like that. So I mean, if you need like the nitty gritty details of these cards, I might not be your guy for that. But if you're a consumer just like I am, and you just want a product that's gonna do what it says it's gonna do, then maybe I'm the guy for you, man. Like maybe I'm the guy for you. I don't know. I get caught up in some of this stuff. Like when I'm at work, man, and I'm working all day, my brain's just going 100 miles an hour because of my super ADD or whatever. And I just start coming up with these ideas and stuff, and then and then I come home and then I just try to spit them out, on a video or something like that. Normally I mess up. I got people in the comments section telling me, "Why don't you just take some notes? Write some bullet points." And I'm like, dude, that's not my style, man. That's not my style. I'm here talking to you like I would be talking to a friend. And it's like not something that I'm like sitting here. I'm not trying to sit here and put out a bullet point list to sell you a product. Like I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm telling you about my experience with my AMD card and that I'm happy. I don't care if you go out and buy an AMD card. I don't care if you buy an Nvidia card. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not here to sell you these guys' products, but I am here to set the record straight. Now, there's a lot of information out there just about AMD and it being not necessarily negative, but not necessarily like I mean, I'll tell you, man, like trying to do any research on like AMD and stuff was pretty hard to like come up. It wasn't even until I started making these videos that like I start getting AMD videos popping up in my feed, because when I was looking for them, it was always like, oh, you would find them, but then not even far into the video, they're already talking about Nvidia and DLSS. They're already talking about it. And I'm like, dude, I don't care about that nonsense. I want to know about what AMD is doing. And it was just getting to be a problem that I couldn't find it. So I was like, you know what, man? I'm just going to go buy one. I ordered one from Amazon and it showed up and it didn't fit in my case. So I ended up building a whole new PC. And now here we are, man. Here we are 29 days later and we are still happy, still having a good time. It does suck that I had that little black screen thing. I was starting to get a little bit frustrated with it, but seeing as it's PCs, you're gonna have issues no matter what. Like you're gonna have your little bugs and your little glitches and your little driver issues and whatever else. Like I mean, if you're a PC gamer, like you already know that. So I'd say that like some of this stuff is not acceptable, but it's mitigatable. Like you can mitigate the circumstances enough to the point where obviously it matters, but it doesn't matter as long as you can get into what you need to be doing um, pretty quick. I think that's not acceptable, but manageable. It's definitely manageable, and I feel like even on the Nvidia side, there was, like I was saying, I would turn off my screen and it would just start blinking, and that was very annoying, very very annoying. For that to be doing that, and now I don't have that problem per se. Like I could turn off my. I mean, I've got that TV on right now. I mean, if I switch over here and I turn that off, it just says life's good and nothing happens. My other screens are working just fine. They don't blink, they don't shrink or anything like that. They just keep working. And I'm happy with that. That is something that and it would get really intrusive. When I would turn that TV off, it would blink and then would come back on, and then it would blink again, like they would just kind of shut off. And that was so annoying because I'd be sitting here and we would be doing like a live stream or something, and it would just start shutting off, and it was getting really frustrating. So when it comes down to things, when I start doing like more um regular content for this, I will start trying to do like not necessarily bullet points, but I will start trying to keep, some of the information, a lot more concise, maybe have like a point or something that I'm trying to get to or get at, because I know that your time is valuable. I get that. But I mean, my time is valuable too. My time is valuable too. My time to sit here and make a video and talk about the things that are on my mind and talk about the experience and talk about things. My time is just as valuable as your time. It takes me a lot more time to create and upload the video than it does for you to watch 30 seconds of it and flip away. You know what I mean? Like we're we're both spending time on this, and I hope you appreciate this content, because it does. It takes a lot of time for me to create. Um, so and I feel like this is what you guys want, because obviously the views are still staying pretty high on this content. So I mean, I set like a 1,000 thing, and each one of these videos are over 2,000. They're usually right around 3,000. So obviously, you guys like and appreciate me taking the time to make these. So I keep doing it for you. I keep making them, and I keep trying to think of like, okay, well, what can I talk about today? What things can I look for on this card that might seem remotely useful to anybody that's thinking about getting off the Nvidia hamster wheel? And man, the hamster wheel the hamster wheel with Nvidia, man, like I was getting sucked in. And like I said on yesterday's video, had I known I was going to have to rebuild the whole PC, I would be sitting here with another Nvidia card. I'd probably have a 3080 or a 4090. Like I would have one. I probably, you know, I probably would have just been like, cuz I was having a hard time finding information about AMD, and I was just, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I was having problems, and I was sitting here, and I'm not even joking, man. I was sitting here irritated that I already had to upgrade the card. Already irritated about that. Looking at the cost of the freaking 4080s, looking at the freaking the power supply constraints that I had, because I was not ready to upgrade my PC just yet. I wasn't. I didn't want to. I wanted another card that I could slot in there, and my only option with the video was a freaking 4070. So I was getting kind of mad. I was already mad that I had to do that. And so when I looked over at AMD, and I'm like, all right, you got 2 8 pins. I'm just going to buy your card. I don't even care. Like, I'm going to buy your card. I'm going to try it, and we're going to see how it goes. Because if this doesn't work, I gotta upgrade the whole system anyways and buy an Nvidia card. Thankfully, I bought the card first, and then had to upgrade the PC because this card was huge. So it kind of worked out. It kind of put this channel in a position to be able to grow a little more, and to be able to cover a product that, frankly, man, a lot of people are like, man, dude, I want to pull the trigger on AMD, but I don't know if it's going to be good for me. Am I going to regret it? Am I going to have issues with it? Am I going to experience like driver issues? Am I going to have all the little nonsense that's out there right now? No, I'm not discrediting anybody that's obviously having issues with their AMD. Like when I first got this thing after that first week, I was struggling, man. Like I had like a memory issue that was really bugging me, that was making it hard to play certain games. And I was at a point where I was like, all right, man, I guess I'm gonna have to live without playing these games. And I was like thinking, and I was starting to get mad, like it was an AMD issue, like their freaking drivers or something. And it was a user error. It was me putting in the wrong type of memory. And now that I've gotten that all situated, I feel a lot better about this. And I do kind of feel like some of the problems out there with the AMD cards are, I feel like some of them are probably self-inflicted, like mine was, and you just don't know until until you rack your brain, until you try to find all the information you can, and then you finally fix it, and you're like, oh man. And that's fine. That's what I do at work every day. I literally have to find the problem, fix the problem, and get the equipment back up and running. And like being able to diagnose things and stuff it's never easy. It does take a lot of time to learn the skills and to learn, learn the equipment and stuff like that, so that you can actively diagnose problems and fix it. And that's what I do, man. That's what I do for work. So, being able to find that stuff on the PC and stuff, and get it running, that's pretty cool, man. It does take a lot of research, takes a lot of time. It's definitely a waste of time, but oh, I don't know, man. I know that somebody in the comment section was complaining about, not talking about the experience on my last video and stuff. And I don't know, man. I hope these videos are doing well. I mean, if you made it this far, let me know how you're feeling about them. We got one more. We're gonna do one more tomorrow, and then we're gonna move back to like regular content and stuff. Um, Uploading a video right now for this game called Kill Squad. Freaking cool game. Freaking cool game. Uh, I like playing that. This card's running it absolutely perfectly. I'm well over 120 frames a second. It actually wants to run it way over at 4K epic settings, and that's cool. I mean, it is a top-down twin stick shooter game. Pretty freaking awesome. Pretty awesome. It is fun. Definitely co-op online. There's a lot of stuff in there. Really deep systems and stuff. So, all right, my friends, I appreciate it. Like I said, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know how you're feeling. If you want this content to continue, or what you want me to do with this content, just give me your suggestions, and I'll do my best to try to curate that content for you and make things as good as possible. So, all right, my friends, we'll see you guys later.